Ovids, said the doctor. Take their ball back. Plenty of time for that later, though. A lifetime or 6, in fact. Tegan folded her arms and glared at him. Hang on, what about my job? Heathrow Airport, 1981? You promised. The doctor didn't rise to her bait. He bounded to his feet and pushed the Ovid sphere into the surprised Adric's hands. Right now, there's something else I have to do. A request from, you could say, from my very oldest friend. He didn't quite get out the words, but I think I got the gist of what he was trying to tell me. The fairground workers were opening up their booths and stalls, preparing for the morning's trade. A short, stout man stood on the roundabout, tinkering with its giant steam engine. The doctor flashed him a thumbs-up signal, and he nodded. He operated the controls as the doctor mounted one of the painted wooden horses. He jammed his Panama hat down firmly over his ears and grinned happily as the roundabout began to turn. What on earth is he doing? Asked Nissa, open-mouthed. Tegan found her lips twitching in an involuntary grin. I think the doctor's having fun.
Doctor Who, Smoke and Mirrors by Steve Lyons was performed by Janet Fielding with Tim Beckman as Houdini and is a Big Finish production for Audio Go.
Doctor Who, Trouble in Paradise, performed by Nicola Bryant with Cameron Stewart. There was a very odd noise in the TARDIS. Perry instinctively backed away from the controls. Is it supposed to make a noise like that? The doctor put his hands on his hips, showing the lurid lining of his lurid coat. Not really, no. It sounds like a stray sub-ether signal overloading the interstitial buffers. Perry pulled a face. And that means? Honestly, Perry, he snapped. If you can't understand plain English, then I really can't help you. There it was again. The doctor was becoming annoyed. He raced around the control panel looking for the source of the burble, while Perry watched with some amusement. My dad had a Chevy make a noise like that. It was his own fault. He pulled a Yui on the interstate once, and after that, burble, 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 all the time, right under the hood. He put it in the shop, and it never came out. And the transmission was shot. He really loved that jalopy. Perry gave out another long, low whistle, and she shook her head, tutting, mainly because she knew it would irritate the doctor no end. Perry, I really have no idea what you're talking about, he snapped. She folded her arms in triumph. Honestly, Doctor, if you can't understand plain English, then I really can't help you. The burble started to form words, and a jaunty, affable voice filled the air. The owner of the voice jabbered away 19 to the dozen, as if he had too many thoughts for the size of his head. This is a recorded message because I'm out at the moment. An image appeared of a square-jawed man with an unruly shock of brown hair, a tweed jacket, and a bow tie. Perry thought he resembled what the doctor's son might look like, if the doctor had ever shown any inclination to settle down and raise a family. Hello there, Doctor! It's me! And chances, eh? Now, if my calculations are correct, then I'm talking to the one who has an incredibly fantastic coat. Now, I'm a future version of you. Nowhere near as cool as you, granted, but I'm working on it. I've got a fez now. I know it's not a coat, but at least it's a fez. But enough talk of the coat. I need you to go and get me an Omni Paradox. The doctor looked aghast. An Omni Paradox? He leaned on the TARDIS console in shock. Yes? You may very well whisper an Omni Paradox and lean on the console in shock, which you're probably doing. I know, Doctor, I'd love to just say to you, get me a coat instead, but an Omni Paradox it has to be. You can send me a coat too, of course, no pressure, but I really need an Omni Paradox. I need you to store its awesome energy within the TARDIS so I can use it later for a very important thing I'm doing. The existence of the universe is at stake. Crikey, if I had a penny for every time I had to say that, I'd have enough to pay for this call. Now, I'm going to give you some directions. Do you have GPS now? No, you probably still do boring old coordinates. Seriously, you should get the galactic positioning system. I love all that. Take a left to the next planet, carry on for the next 500 light years, turn around and run away from that monster when possible stuff. It's great fun. Mine's got the voice of Davros. It's hilarious. Good luck, Doctor, and try not to get killed, or if you must get killed, get someone to send me the code. With a cheery wave, the man vanished. Perry and the doctor looked at each other. Perry spoke first. So, what's an Omni Paradox? An Omni Paradox is an extremely rare and potentially universe-shattering space-time event, explained the doctor, his face ashen. It's a monumental source of energy. Just as nuclear power is brought about by bashing atoms together, Omni Paradox power is brought about by the collision of time. One false move, and we could snap reality like a twig. Wow. Exactly, Perry, as you so succinctly put it. Wow. The coordinates to the Omni Paradox appeared, floating in midair like smoke, as if scrawled by a ghostly graffiti artist. The doctor inputted the coordinates into the console, and the time rotor rose and fell. Well, that settles it, he said. Anyone who can contact the TARDIS across the depths of space and time using just the power of their mind, well, it could only be another doctor, another you. Exactly. Perry struck a determined pose. Okay, well, if it is really you, and the other you wants this Omni Paradox, let's go get it. The doctor rolled his eyes. Fine, Perry. If you insist, we'll go get the Omni Paradox. He tutted to himself. Americans, they can put a man on the moon, but not a conjunction in a sentence. I have no idea where we're going to end up, he grumbled. I really hate going on badly researched expeditions. The first thing Perry heard when she left the TARDIS was the creaking of timbers and the gentle lapping of the sea. The first thing she saw was a goat tethered to the floor by a ring. The doctor moved to the animal and bowed low. Greetings, Neddy. We have travelled far across the universe to come to your vessel. The goat put its hooves on the doctor's chest and tried to grab a nibble of his cravat. Perry sighed, folded her arms and leaned against the TARDIS. Honestly, stop wasting your time talking to that old goat. You just look silly. The doctor drew himself up to his full height. Perry, in this civilization, this creature might be the dominant species. It is by no means a waste of my time to converse with my friend Neddy here. It was Neddy I was talking to. The floor gave a sudden lurch, and Perry staggered and clutched the TARDIS for support. We're in a boat. A big boat. Indeed we are, grinned the doctor. We've just met a goat on a boat who put its hooves on my coat and tried to eat the thing on my throat. Perhaps we've landed on the planet completely devoted to the works of Dr. Zeus. I've been tempted to go there a couple of times. I'm quite keen to try the green eggs and ham. Quit clowning around, Doctor. Where exactly are we? The doctor wandered around the room. There were more animals in cages, chickens, pigs, and even a bull tethered in a stall. There were also ominous splashes of blood on the wooden planking of the inner hull. The doctor looked around him, pointing his finger in all directions to focus his thoughts. Well, let me see. From the topography of the hull, I'm guessing there's 3, probably 4 masts above us. They're keeping livestock for the journey. My guess is we're on a European sailing ship on a very long voyage, sometime in the 15th or 16th century. He brought out a small device from his pocket, about the size and shape of a stapler. It made a high-pitched twittering noise which was almost like music. This machine gives off a false omniparadox signal, explained the doctor. It bounces off against the true omniparadox signal and resonates against it like 2 tuning forks. He waved the device in the air. It should react and give us the exact location of the... His voice trailed off. Something was glowing above the TARDIS, flickering with a silver light. The doctor switched off his device, stepped forward, and almost looked as if he was going to touch it. I've never seen one. A perfect omniparadox. How beautiful it is. You said it was one of the most dangerous things in the universe. It is, said the doctor. It contains energies capable of turning reality inside out. That doesn't stop it being beautiful. Honestly, Doctor, sometimes I think you really did regenerate into a cat. You have this weakness for moving shiny objects. Yet Perry did have to admit that the omniparadox was indeed beautiful. It looked like the kind of star the wise men point to on Christmas cards. Intricate, impossible patterns swarmed in its depths. With great difficulty, the doctor tore his eyes from it. Right. All we have to do is to get the TARDIS to absorb the omniparadox. Then we'll slip away quietly and nobody will be any the wiser. At that moment, the hatch above them opened. Sunshine struck them like a spotlight.
Admiral! Admiral! We have visitors!
Great. So much for Plan A. The sailors prodded Perry and the doctor up the ladder and forced them to stand on deck, as if waiting for inspection. The ship was sitting in an inlet of an exotic island. Lush green trees and plants surrounded them. Strange noises from even stranger animals hooted and screeched. Exotic birds flew over their heads. Perry closed her eyes and basked in the soft, warm breeze. This was more like it. This was paradise. She looked up and saw a man gazing down at them from the upper deck. He was tall and pale with red hair and piercing blue eyes. He was dressed in simple robes, almost like a monk. He looked familiar somehow, but she couldn't quite place the face. Then she saw 2 smaller ships near the shore. Her eyes strained to read their names, and at last she could make out Nina and Pinta, written on their sides. She gripped the doctor's sleeve urgently. Doctor, I think I know who this ship belongs to.
The Journal of Admiral Christopher Columbus, greatest explorer in the world, 12th of October, 1492. It was only a few hours since my historic discovery of this virgin land that we made first contact with the natives. They certainly are exotic. The man is dressed in every color of the rainbow, so clearly he is an important member of their tribe, a chieftain or a high priest, perhaps. The woman is practically naked, so I assume she's meant to be an offering of some sort, because they obviously worship us. Unbelievably, they managed to get into the ship without any of us noticing and erect a small blue shrine in the hold. Incredibly, they spoke our language. It concerns me that I may not be the first explorer to visit these isles, but I have heard of no European vessel to make it out this far. Hopefully, they have all perished on the high seas. No doubt, my men would say anyone who was foolish enough to come before us must surely have fallen off the edge of the world. The superstitious buffoons could speak of little else these past weeks, and even after I hanged the more mutinous of their number, they still stared fearfully at the waters, expecting the seas to fall away, and for us to descend into the pit of hell. One of them even claimed he saw the devil lurking in the hold, and was made delirious by the experience. But at least the natives seem very friendly.